What do you got, Coach? 3 things that all coaches need.
Who would you put on your Mount Rushmore of coaches?
New York or the Aces? Definitely going with the Aces.
All right, 4th down. Who has the tougher job, coaches or officials? If you could have any superpower, what would it be and why? But Texas is different. This is the Coaches Co-op, a masterclass in athletic leadership where coaches connect, grow, and share the grind. I am your host, Michael Prejean, better known as Coach P. Each week, I team up with coaches across the country to break down the wins, the lessons, and everything in between. This week, I am teaming up with our expert in all things WNBA, WNBA Tay. She is here to serve up a fresh pot of hot tea for tea time. Then we're going to dissect the current standings. We're going to look at our predictions versus where things are now. We'll hit Tay's tops. We're going to talk about Rookie of the Year, MVP, Coach of the Year. We're going to talk about all of those things. We're going to give our playoff preview, even though everything is not set yet. We may throw a surprise in there. Last but not least, we're going to help you get your money right. We are going to help you get your money right because we have Tay's Parlays. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage with your real hands and with your virtual hands, WNBA Tay. Hey, Tay.
Hi.
My absolute favorite person in the world. It's so good to see you today. All right, Tay. The last time we recorded was on your birthday. So it's been about a month since we've recorded. The fans have missed us. They didn't tell me this, but I know they have.
I felt it in my spirit.
Yeah. So how has your month been since your birthday?
August was well.
September's off to a different kind of start.
Yes, it is.
All right. So, okay, well, let's do this. Y'all see it right behind me on the screen. It's the cup of hot tea. All right, so let's go ahead and let's get into tea time. So let us know, Tay, what you got for tea time.
So as we discussed, Angel Reese is the hottest commodity in the WNBA right now. Recently, she was suspended in the Friday contest versus the Indiana Fever for receiving her 7th or 8th technical of the season. I'm not sure what the exact number is, but
I think it was number 8.
She reached that limit, that amount of technicals, and she, as a result, had to serve a suspension. Didn't like how a player kind of boxed her out, gave her a little hip check, and gave him a little swing. Additionally, was asked about her future in Chicago and what that looks like for her. And she kind of made a comment about her teammates, or she made a comment about the organization, right? And the organizational members needing to do better at picking players and picking better players and drafting better players and signing better players. And of course, her team, as well as community members and fans, took this as her putting down her teammates, and her teammates weren't happy about her comments. The organization had to suspend her, but because she's such a star in her role on their team, they could only suspend her for half of a game. So they suspended her for the first half of the game in their last contest versus the Aces, and people were extremely or it may actually be today. She may be suspended today for the first half of the contest versus the Aces, and people are extremely unhappy about that. So that is the hottest tea. That's what people are talking about on every social media platform when it comes to the WNBA right now.
Did Angel Reese tell any lies?
No, I don't think that she told lies in terms of that the organization needs to be better, but I can't say that it falls on because and so the community is upset that she said her teammates suck, basically, right? But that's what it looks like. It looks like her teammates just aren't performing because the members, right, the owners, the people who do the signing and the drafting, seems to me like they've picked great candidates, right? You sign Ariel Atkins, you you sign Ariel Atkins, you surround yourself with shooters and Rachel Bannum and Kia Nurse. You have Elizabeth Williams, you have Camila Cardoso, Michaela Onyenwere, who was the 2021 Rookie of the Year, right? You're surrounded by good pieces, but you haven't been able to put it together and win games. So that kind of falls on, not only the staff, but the players themselves. I don't think that she said anything wrong, in my opinion.
How much does this team miss the veteran leadership of a Courtney Vandersloot?
That was a very big blow to the team. I think, already we're struggling, and then now you have to kind of play different roles, right? You're dealing with injuries, and someone like Courtney Vandersloot has seen it all, and she possibly could have helped the young team navigate that adversity. So I think they miss her a ton.
Yeah, because that's a young roster, right? So you
Yeah.
probably
Young staff as well.
Yeah, young roster, young staff. Angel Reese is, I think, she is following the lead of NBA players. Okay. NBA players speak out and they end up getting their way. Okay. So I don't have a huge problem with her speaking out like that. The other side of that is, who gonna check me, boo? Is there anybody in that locker room that can check Angel Reese when it comes to something like that?
She was extremely apologetic, right, about her comments, and I think the way that her team took them. So maybe someone did check her. We don't know. We'll never know. Maybe there was someone, whether it was a staff member or a teammate, who did check her about it. And I think, again, I don't think she said anything wrong, but I think that she has to learn, what the media is. They're looking for clickbait. That's their job. They're looking for
Correct.
clickbait. So they're looking for
Correct.
any headline that they can take and post, right, as a quote from Angel Reese. And then, no one's going to go and watch the entire interview. We're just going to see that quote and we're going to run with it, because that's what we do in society. They're going to run with it. So I think she has to be better about not giving the media any clickbait.
Yeah. And again, very, very young lady. There's a lot to learn, as far as becoming media savvy and different things like that. We kind of touched on that in our pre-production meeting. All right, so that was your hot tea, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so now let's go to our standings review. So let me go ahead and get this up on the screen here. I have trouble with this every time we do it. So we're efforting. We're actually efforting. All right. So we got our standings up on the screen here. Now, this is from our very last episode. Okay. This is from our very last episode. Let me do a little bit better job here with this. All right, there we go. That's much better. Okay, so this was on the 9th. All right, so if you look at these standings on the 9th, the top 8 teams have not changed. The order, I can actually say the top 9. The top 9 teams have not changed. The order of the top 9 teams has changed. The Lynx are still at the top. The Liberty are not in that 2 spot. The Atlanta Dream have moved into that 2 spot, and the Las Vegas Aces, who a month ago were all the way down in the 6th spot at 17-14, are now 27-14 and knocking on that number 2 seed. The Lynx have clinched. The Dream have clinched. Vegas, Phoenix, New York, Golden State have all clinched spots. You got Indiana at number 7, Seattle hanging on by a thread. The only reason, I've been slandering Seattle all year, and I'm going to say this again. I don't know if this was Herm Edwards or Dennis Green, both former NFL coaches. I think it was Dennis Green that says, your record is who you are, or something like that. I completely jacked that up, but Seattle's a 500 team. They're 22-21. There is no reason for me to believe that they're a serious contender like you say they are. And the regular season ends this week. The playoffs begin a week from today. I know your answer. You think Seattle is going to hold on to that final spot?
They are. It's not changing. Los Angeles, is not getting over the hump.
So both of them have lost their last 2 games. The only reason Seattle is still in that spot is because the Sparks just can't get their act together.
As I stated a month ago on August 9th, Los Angeles, they're inconsistent. They will not get over the hump. Now also, we have to consider the end of the season. There's only a few games left, right? Who has the tougher schedule?
All right, so
how many games are left? Who has the tougher schedule? Is it possible for Los Angeles to win out and that Seattle has a tough, or Indiana has a tough ending to their schedule and they lose out?
Well, let's talk about it. Okay. So Indiana has Washington today.
Okay.
Washington, as we've talked about previously, has made significant roster changes. They have lost 8 in a row. So
they'll be hungry today.
Yeah, they'll be hungry, but it may not matter. Now, the Sparks have Dallas today. Okay. Nobody's afraid of Dallas. Dallas has lost 9 in a row. Okay. So let's say the Sparks get that win today. We won't see Seattle play again until Tuesday. Huge game. I'm going to, in my frustration with the WNBA League Pass and games always being blacked out, I did not renew my League Pass this year. So I'm really hoping that this Vegas and Seattle game is on television. And it's not. WNBA, listen to me.
And it's not.
It's on the League Pass, but it's not on television. Tuesday night is usually a night where ESPN will carry a game. Okay, but this game will not be carried on ESPN. WNBA, listen to me. That's a mistake. This is a huge game on Tuesday night. This is a huge game. All right, you got the Valkyrie at Golden State. That's a huge game. Now, also on Tuesday night, you have Minnesota at Indiana. Okay, you got Minnesota at Indiana. And then, so the playoff situation might be wrapped up by Tuesday night. Okay. It might be wrapped up by Tuesday night because you got Golden State, Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You got Minnesota at Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
And you got Los Angeles at Phoenix.
Oh, wow.
So Tuesday night is the night to watch, okay?
Wow.
But if things are not settled on Tuesday night, okay? If things are not settled on Tuesday night, let's go to the final night of the regular season. Okay? We've got Vegas at the Sparks, okay?
Big game.
That's a huge game. That could be the game that decides the season for the Sparks.
Agreed.
Okay. That could be the game. So Ooh, this is going to be a fun finish to the season.
Agreed.
This is going to be a fun finish to the season. Only one more game on the schedule for Seattle. Only one more game on the schedule for Seattle. Three more games on the schedule for the Sparks. Okay.
Oh,
wow. So the Sparks may be able to play their way into this thing. Let's talk about tiebreakers. I saw something up here earlier. All right, the tiebreak procedure. In the event, okay, the Fever got 2 more games, Seattle's got 1, the Sparks have 3. In the event of a tie, here's the following criteria set forth by the WNBA. Okay, here's the criteria set forth by the WNBA. Better record in head-to-head games. Okay, that's the number 1 tiebreaker. Number 2 is the best winning percentage against all teams 500 or better at the end of the season. So that's a power rating. That's going to be a power rating system there. Then number 3 is the better point differential in games net result of total points scored minus points scored allowed head to head. What is this? What is this saying?
So what they're saying is if Seattle and Los Angeles are tied, then Seattle will get the final spot.
Because they probably have the better record head to head.
They have the better record head to head, and they have the better record teams versus teams 500 and above.
Oh, poor Los Angeles.
Because I believe they beat Atlanta twice. They beat Minnesota. They beat Vegas. They beat New York. I'm not sure about Phoenix. So.
All right. So yeah. well, hold on. Hold on, young lady.
I'm holding.
The Sparks are 3-1 against Seattle.
Okay. I was wrong there.
So all they need to do is tie.
All they need to do is tie.
All they need to do is finish tied in the standings with the Seattle Storm, and
then
the LA Sparks are in the playoffs.
Okay, so my question is, so that's the first.
Yes, that's the first tiebreaker. So if they're still tied, then it goes to the second one.
So if they were, let's say, 2-2 versus head to head, then we move on to the next.
Yeah, then we would move on to the next tiebreaker, which would
games over 500 winners.
Better winning percentage against teams with 500 or better. And this is the story of your Seattle Storm. They're beating good teams, but they're 1-3 against the LA Sparks. They are what their record says they are.
And I'll say this about the Sparks though. The Sparks do compete. Right? The Sparks are not a terrible team. What do we say about the Sparks record and what it represents about them? Because they aren't a bad team either. They have great pieces, right? So they can contend and compete with teams like Minnesota, LA, Vegas, Phoenix, Atlanta, New York. Why aren't they in the top 8 at this very moment?
Okay, that's a great question. So let me come to the defense of my Los Angeles Sparks.
And let's hear it.
Okay, so if we're getting ready to have a 5-on-5 run, okay, and we're gonna pick our teams, right? Skylar Diggins, Kelsey Plum. Who are most WNBA heads taking?
I would, of course, take Skylar Diggins, but some may argue they're taking Kelsey Plum. People love Kelsey Plum. She's a champion.
I'm taking Kelsey Plum
because
she's a champion and because she is just as competitive, in my opinion, as Skylar Diggins is, and she's a better scorer. Her bag, Skylar Diggins got the little shoulder bag, the little one you throw on the shoulder, the little like a clutch, okay?
I
And
have no comment.
this is no disrespect to Skylar Diggins. Let me
I
say
have
that.
no comment here.
Okay, this is no, but Kelsey Plum got the big Louis V. She
I
got the
think
big
that's
Louis V bag.
I don't agree.
That's cap. You think that's cap?
That is very much cap.
Okay.
That's very much cap.
Okay, so we're 50-50 there.
These are two lefty killers here. I think
two
they're
lefty killers. Yes.
yes.
Two lefty
Okay,
killers.
so next, right? So if we were to choose who next?
So Nneka
Mm-hmm.
or De'Arica Hamby?
Again, both dominant, both champions.
Okay, let me ask this question. Is Nneka Ogwumike, let me put us back on the screen here. Is Nneka Ogwumike a Hall of Famer?
Yes.
Is De'Arica Hamby a Hall of Famer?
At the moment, I think she's on her way. I think she's on her way.
Okay.
Yes.
Potentially
She's on
a
her
Hall
way.
of Famer.
She's on her way. She's definitely in those conversations. De'Arica Hamby she's dominant. And she's also a champion.
She is a champion. She is very good. I love
She's my favorite
De'Arica
player
Hamby's
on the
game.
Sparks roster. She's my favorite player on the Sparks roster, besides Azurá Stevens. Those two are my favorite players on the Sparks roster.
Okay, so you brought up Azurá Stevens.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go next pick.
Is it McAdore, Azurá Stevens, or the rookie?
Yeah, well, that rookie is in a class by herself. She is in a class by herself, but let's go Ezzy McAdore versus Azurá Stevens.
I take Azurá Stevens.
I'm taking Azurá Stevens there as well. Okay. Now I'm making my argument for the Sparks, and you're asking me why aren't they a top 8 team?
Mm-hmm.
I think edge-wise, so when you look at experience, I think most people would take Skylar, but I would take Kelsey Plum, right? I would take Nneka over Hamby. I think just experience-wise, I think, now I think this one is a push. McAdore, actually Stevens is so good.
Stevens is a three-way player.
She impacts winning. Okay. Let's keep going. So now let's go Gabby Williams and Rickea Jackson.
I'm taking Gabby Williams.
I would probably, this sounds like I'm not making an argument for my team, but now when it's all said and done, Rickea Jackson.
Right. In the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But right now, Gabby Williams, we talked about her last episode, Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
Swiss Army knife. And then we're talking about Brittany Sykes versus who? Right? So let me pull up
Ray Burrell, Cameron Brink. Who's left on the roster?
I love Ray Burrell. I absolutely love Ray Burrell. Who's actually, I want to say the starter is Julie Alamo or Alaman, however they say it.
So our point is what? Okay, because
so it's about a push. So these two teams are what's the X factor? Let's say this. What is the X factor in this situation? Because it sounds like these two teams are about a push. They're like if they play a 5 or 7 game series, it's going to 5 or it's going to 7. So what's your X factor that would get your team over the hump? What do you think? And I'm gonna tell you what I think mine is.
What do you think yours is?
Yeah, okay, you're supposed to go first. So this is why I think Seattle should be ahead of the Sparks, and its experience.
And
So
I figured you'd say that, and that was going to be my turn. But as I'm thinking, I'm like, the Sparks roster has experience as well. There's some experience there. Because if I'm not mistaken, isn't Azurá Stevens a champion as well with Chicago in 2021 and Candace Parker?
let me go and look at her career, because you are absolutely right. She won a championship in 2021 with Chicago.
And that was a big year. So, they're truly neck and neck. I think I have no idea what the X factor would be.
So a team, this is just how I feel. And maybe this is just because I'm so set on slandering the Seattle Storm.
Yeah, you are.
maybe that's what it is. But if
why.
you say I got a team led by Skylar Diggins and Nneka Ogwumike versus a team led by Kelsey Plum and De'Arica Hamby, it seems like most people will be like, yeah, Seattle should.
Right.
And all what that is I think it's an oversight for how good the WNBA is, how deep the WNBA is, because Kelsey Plum is so good. De'Arica Hamby is so good. Skylar Diggins is so good. Nneka Ogwumike is so good.
And the list goes on.
And the list goes on. Like, I think if the LA Sparks were 1 year older, and I'm talking about Rickea Jackson, I'm talking about if Cameron Brink doesn't get injured, right? Okay. So I'm talking about if they're 1 year older, then that team is a problem, and you're going to have to see them. So, point being, if they went out, they have to win out. They have to win out. So if they went out, they're in. So LA Sparks, I need y'all to do me a favor. All right. I need y'all to do me a favor. I need y'all to go on and win out, and I need y'all to get in that 8th spot. Now, we'll talk about what happens in that 8th spot if and when y'all get in to that 8th spot. Okay.
All right.
Okay, wait a minute. Official William is over here, and I missed the comment initially, but I just see Cap in here.
Cap. He's on my side.
I know whose side he's on. I know whose side he's on. Okay. All right. Where are we? Where are we in the format? So we're not even going to do our standings review and where we picked teams. We're not even going to do that. So let me do this right here. Let me go ahead and play my commercial here. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and play my commercial, and we'll be right back. And 3 things that all coaches need:
a mentor.
You know what I want to be for you? I want to be your mentor. If you want me to be your mentor, you can buy this book, The Path for Coaches, Volume 1, Mentoring. You want to know where you can purchase this book? Well, you can get in touch with me. Send me a DM on Instagram. It's Podcast with Prejean.
Yeah.
Right? So look me up, Podcast with Prejean. I would be more than happy to send you a copy of this book. Or if you don't want to buy a copy of the book from me, you can go right here. You can go to Amazon.com and purchase this book, The Path for Coaches. Let me be your mentor. I'd love to help you out with anything that you need. Let me be your mentor. I'd love to help you out with anything that you need. All right, listen. You are in the Coaches Co-op. What do we do here? Listen, all we do is break things down. This is where coaches connect, grow, and share the grind. All right. We are in the co-op with our expert in all things WNBA, WNBA Tay. All right, Tay. So now we got to talk about, so we've done our standings review. So let's do our rookie watch. Let's do our rookie watch. There's not a lot to watch for, so I'm not even going to put it up on the screen here. Paige Beckers, top 5 in scoring.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lock. She's rookie of the year.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, all season long, we had been talking about Alicia Gray potentially being the, like the lock for most improved. But a lot has happened. A lot has transgressed over the course of the season. So we've had to add some people to this list.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got 4. We've gone from 1 candidate to 4 candidates for most improved. All right. So here's our first candidate for most improved. This is Veronica Burton of the upstart Golden State Valkyries, expansion team who is locked in for the playoffs. They're in. Their spot is solidified. Talk about Veronica Burton for us.
I think Veronica Burton is like such an impact player. She does it all. You can see her numbers: assists per game, 6 assists per game, 5 rebounds per game, 12 points per game. She's shooting the ball better this year. Well, visually, I believe. I'm not sure what her percentage is, but she seems to be shooting the ball a lot better. They started off great, right? Her alongside Kayla Thornton, but then Kayla Thornton went down with an injury, and Veronica Burton has been able to provide or impact her team and keep them winning, which as a result, they clinched that spot. They had kind of transitioned down the line into the standings, but they picked it back up. And I think this is well due, right, to the play of Veronica Burton.
Listen, the depth of the WNBA to add an expansion team, right? And not only the depth of players, the depth of quality coaching. And we'll talk about that in a little bit later. All right, here's our next candidate from my Los Angeles Sparks.
I love
a young lady who just impacts winning. Look at that purple and gold. That just looks outstanding. So Azurá Stevens, she's 13, 7, and 2 on the season. Those numbers at the bottom are not her numbers. That our producer, I'm probably gonna have to fire our producer because those are somebody else's numbers down there at the bottom. All right, talk about Azurá Stevens on the most improved list.
Like we just said, Azurá Stevens is a terrific player, champion, 3-way player. I think her impact with the Sparks this year, she's been on my parlays, okay, and she's produced every single time. But I don't think they're in that 9th spot and even contending, right, without Azurá and what she brings on both sides of the ball.
Yeah. So I'm gonna tell you, you know what we're gonna do right here? We're gonna put some respect on Geno Auriemma's name.
Absolutely. And I'm a hater because I'm a Notre Dame fan, but you can't, we can't deny his talent.
Listen, yesterday, Maya Moore, perhaps, she has to be in everybody's GOAT conversation. She chooses to walk away from the game in her prime, right? Who knows what the WNBA record books look like if she doesn't walk away? But all Geno Auriemma has done, love him or hate him, is won titles and put greats in the league. Sue Bird went in, right? So, I mean, we can go so far back. Sue Bird, Rebecca Lobo, and then come to now. We're talking about most improved, Azurá Stevens, the rookie of the year, Paige Beckers.
Naphessa Collier, MVP watch.
Naphessa Collier, we're going to talk about her in a second. So we got to put some Gabby Williams, and the list goes on. It goes on and on.
It does. It's crazy. It's unbearable as a hater.
So, right. I'm going to tell you, man, we're going to miss, just like college football is kind of missing Nick Saban a little bit right now. I know people are cheering, because now other people are going to get chances to win. But when Geno hangs up his whistle, the game is going to miss him, right? It's the great thing is that we have a Dawn Staley.
Yeah.
Right. We have a Dawn Staley right now. But college football, I don't know if college football has a Dawn Staley to kind of step in that gap that Nick Saban left behind. All right, let's keep going. Our third candidate, Another UConn product, Gabby Williams.
Gabby, another one of my parlayers that always does the trick. Gabby, like Azare, my favorite thing about her is that she impacts both sides of the ball. She just plays hard the entire game. And I feel like her numbers have probably kind of dropped, since Seattle has been losing, the last few games or so. But she it's like how you teach your players, to go 110 on every possession. She does that. She does that. She shoots the ball well. I mean, she's a slasher. Her steal numbers, I'm sure they're pretty well. They're pretty good. She blocks shots. She just runs the floor. She's always in the correct place. Seattle is not even, they're not even contending, in my opinion, without Gabby Williams and what she brings to the roster. Last year, I think she was out of the league. She joined the team late in the season. Right. So what she's been able to come in and do for a full season, how she's been able to impact her team in the league, I definitely think she's a candidate for most improved.
No doubt. No doubt. And then our last candidate,
Alysha Gray,
is Alysha Gray.
Again, she's been a little bit quiet, but what she brings to her team, it's very loud for them, right? It shows up on the box score, and even when it's not on the box score, her impact is greatly felt to her team. They're still sitting in that top spot in number 2, so we know that what she's doing for the guard play in her organization is definitely impactful, and and more than what she was doing in past years. So definitely still on that most improved list.
Yeah. And speaking of Dawn Staley, that's a South Carolina product right there. That's a South Carolina product. All right. So those are our most improved. So if the season ended today, who do you think's our winner? We got Burton, Stevens, Gabby Williams, and Alysha Gray. If the season ends today, who do you think is the most improved player?
If the season ends today, I would have to say I'm going with Burton. Okay, I think that I think it's important how you start and how you finish. The middle, you kind of get lost in the sauce in the middle of the season. But when you start well and you finish well, right, you're making noise in the beginning and you're making noise at the end of the season. That's when you're fresh on the voters' minds, right? And then especially because Golden State has clinched, and not a bottom spot either. We're talking 5th or 6th spot in the standings pretty early with their star and Kayla Thornton going down. I think that Veronica Burton she'd be my vote personally at this very moment.
And my vote is I have no idea. That's who my vote is. We may have to do what
if you had to pick.
If I had to pick, I would probably go with Veronica Burton as well. But the season isn't over. So if the season ends and the LA Sparks are in that 8th spot, Azare Stevens would get my vote.
Okay.
So we'll be able to talk about this next week. We gotta record again next week.
We will.
Okay. All right. So last time we talked about MVP, this is what we did. We removed everybody from this list. Oh my, how things have changed in a month. Things have really changed in a month. And now, we had Naphessa Collier as a lock. We had her locked in.
We did.
Right?
We did.
But she's no longer a lock.
Yeah.
She's no longer a lock. So, I mean, I know we are currently sitting in front of the lock under Naphessa Collier and the arrow up under Alyssa Thomas, but we got to really talk about this. So Naphessa Collier, UConn product, Alyssa Thomas, the engine, right? Asia Wilson, all she does is lead the league in scoring and blocks. Come on, right? That's all she does. Alyssa Thomas leads the league in assists per game. Look at those numbers, 15, 9, and 9, basically. Kelsey Mitchell, right, leads the league in total points. She's at 20 and a half a game, 107 made three-pointers while shooting almost 40%, right? That clip is loaded and she is pulling it, all right? And then Alyssa Gray, right? We have to continue to talk about Alyssa Gray, whether it's most improved, MVP. We may have to do what we did last week with Kelsey Mitchell, and we may have to make up an award for Alyssa Gray.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So talk about these MVP candidates. And then end it with telling us, who do you think the favorite is last week of the season?
Well, this is exciting. You know, you like to have competition in these categories. So I'm excited that we finally have some competition, that Naphessa has some competition, because she started off the year, her team, her just dominant. Naphessa Collier, she wasn't able to be touched, right? But now, you know, she went down with a little bit of an injury. Her team still continued to win and she still continues to produce. But I think that, you know, they've also filled in some different pieces so she does not have to do as much. Now, when it comes to Alyssa Thomas, if she's not on the floor, right, you know, and this is where we're going to talk about the actual term, most valuable. If Alyssa Thomas is not on the floor, Phoenix is not going to, I'm not going to say they're not going to win, but Phoenix is going to struggle, right? It's going to be a struggle to win. She does everything. She does everything. Her numbers have been like just through the roof, crazy. I'm talking about some 20-point triple doubles, some 18 rebound games, some double-digit 15 assist games. Like, she does it all, and she does it at a very, very high rate, and her team wins. And then A'ja Wilson. Listen, the Aces we talked about the Aces bad. Let me just say that.
we buried them.
We talked about them bad, and I'm going to have to give my public apologies to Las Vegas, because they put the pieces together, they came together, they talked about it as a unit, as a team, and they haven't lost since. They haven't lost since. Period. So A'ja Wilson, you know, and I think that her play never changed. Right, her play, she's been dominant the entire season. She's playing well from the very first game of the season. But I think that her mindset is different. I don't think, since she's been in the league, you know, since they've been winning titles, I don't think that she's lost that many games. You know, I don't think that she's experienced winning in the league since like her rookie year, the way that she had at the start of this season. I think that something shifted in her. She went from, you know, a dog DOG to a dog DAWG, you know. So A'ja's doing what A'ja does. We've seen the commercial, A'ja Wilson's on top. But now, you know, with the wins to go along with it, we can really call what she's doing valuable. So my winner, my pick, and this is not controversial at all, my pick is Alyssa Thomas, because I think that she's been overlooked in past years. I think the year that Breanna Stewart won MVP, I think Alyssa Thomas was overlooked. And I think this year she has forced people consistently. She's been consistent. There hasn't been any ups and downs. No stretches of good play, no stretches of bad play. She's been consistently good all season. Her numbers are crazy, and her team has been in the top 5 the entire season. I think she's my pick for MVP.
Listen, this is, so let me put the list, let me put them back on the screen. The top 3, you can't go wrong with the top 3.
You can't.
You can't go wrong with the top 3. But let me read this. This is phenomenal. Through 34 games this season, Thomas is averaging 15.8 points per game. That's 15th in the W. On a career high, 54% shooting from the field. A career high, 9.2 assists per game, 8.9 rebounds, which is 3rd in the league. And she's 6th in steals at 1.6. She is on pace to become the first WNBA player in history to average 15, 8, and 9 with 1+ steals while shooting over 50% from the field.
So
I'm not done. Hold on. The only players in NBA history to have done this are LeBron James, Magic Johnson, and Nikola Jokic.
Wow.
What Alyssa Thomas is doing in Phoenix this year is amongst the best basketball that has ever been played.
Yeah. And she's really close to averaging a triple-double. And I like to, for my male friends or whomever who don't watch the WNBA, and I talk about a player, I say, think of her as, and I give them a NBA comparison. Her NBA comparison is definitely Nikola Jokic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my goodness.
for those of you who may be watching who don't know, just think of Nikola Jokic. And
Wow.
and he's been an MVP. She deserves. She's on pace to average a triple-double. And she's had multiple this season, multiple triple-doubles this season, multiple. Not one, not two, not three. Multiple.
Seven.
And I'm pretty sure, I'm positive that that's a record. She probably broke her own record, actually.
Yes. Her seven triple doubles this year, breaking her own single season record. It's her 18th career regular season triple double.
Wow.
Listen.
She's the lock.
Listen. She now has more triple doubles in the month. She had more in the month of August than any other WNBA player has in their entire career.
I knew it. And, this is no disrespect to Collier. Collier's been great. Her team is amazing. And I know that she's going to receive votes. She may even win. People love A'ja Wilson. And the Aces, they love the Aces. Like, I'm thinking of someone like Carolyn Peck, right? Who loves the Aces. Loves them down. They can't do any wrong in her eyes. So for them to have had the start that they had, people were super disappointed. So now that they've had to shift, people are like, yeah, that's my team. They're excited. That's my girl, A'ja Wilson. They're excited. And they're like, now I can get back on track, right? Into saying the things that I used to say about her, which is that she's the MVP unanimously, right? So all three of them are going to receive votes. I just think it's about Alyssa Thomas not being overlooked. I think she's overlooked.
Yeah. Wow. Again, let me put them up on the screen one more time before we move forward. Like you can't go wrong. That top three, really all five of these young ladies are having outstanding seasons.
Absolutely.
All five of them are having outstanding seasons. But that top three, I don't know which way those votes are going, but that's gonna be a tough race. All right. Now we're moving. Let's go to Tay's tops. Okay. One thing we haven't talked about yet this season is your coach of the year candidates. I don't know what's going on back here with my screen. Let me fix my screen. It's got a mind of its own back here. Hold on.
It's okay.
I don't know what's happening here. But we're getting ready to go as I go through my I don't know what's happening here. All right, there we go. That's probably gonna die soon. All right, we're back up. All right. So Tay's tops. One thing we haven't talked about this year is our coach of the year candidates. So let me go ahead and drop our list.
Mm-hmm.
These are Tay's top candidates for coach of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Natalie Nakase, hopefully I'm saying that right. Morgan Jones, M Jones 9871 just joined us. How you doing, M Jones 9871? Thank you for joining us. Cheryl Reeve of Minnesota, Carl Smesko, Stephanie White, and Becky Hammond, or as we like to call her in the culture, Becky Hammonds. We like to put S's on everything.
Yeah.
All right. So who's your favorite for coach of the year?
Natalie Nakase, again, hope we're saying that right. What she's done with the expansion team. And then after losing her best player, or considerably, arguably one of her best players, right? What she's done with them and keeping them afloat and clinching super early. I think, and for me, I think it's non-negotiable.
No argument for me. I'm gonna put our list back up. That's the next one. What she's done in Golden State has been absolutely phenomenal. We talked about this in earlier episodes. I think Vegas losing her really hurt them at the beginning of the season. So when we talked about depth of not just player talent in the league, but also coaching talent. And then Cheryl Reeve, who just continues to be the top of the class as far as WNBA coaching goes. I think she's outstanding. We talked about Carl Smesko in Atlanta, doing a good job in Atlanta. But I do think Atlanta kind of has an identity crisis. We kind of talked about that a little bit earlier. Like who's their go-to player? Who's Atlanta's go-to player? And of course, we talk about it being Alicia Gray, but that inside game is so powerful with Brittany Griner. But Atlanta sitting in that 2 spot has to be talked about. We have to talk about Stephanie White as well, and the job that she continues to do in Indiana with, oh my goodness, the injuries. Dropping like flies. But they're still in contention for a playoff spot. And then we have to talk about Becky Hammon as well. 13 wins in a row. We buried listen, I owe Vegas an apology as well, because the words out of my mouth was, that's a bad basketball team.
Yes.
And all they've done is turn this thing around. Asia Wilson, one of our MVP candidates, has really, really turned it on. And Becky Hammon has found a way, losing Natalie Nakase, right, who is probably, in our opinion, going to be the winner for Coach of the Year, right? So losing her on the coaching staff and then being able to turn it around has been absolutely phenomenal. Official William IG says coaches of the year are Coach Harris, Coach P, and Coach A.
Oh, thank you, Official William IG.
Listen, that was a GOAT coaching staff right there. That never, it'll often be imitated, but it will never be duplicated.
Put it in the history book.
All right. So listen, for those of you who have been with us, man, some of y'all waited around to get to Tay's parlays. I know. So hopefully Brittany is watching. Hopefully Britt is still watching, because we're about to get to the parlays. So 88 Brit, hopefully you're still watching. But before we get to the parlays, let's do this. If the playoffs started today, this is what we would be looking at, right? Now that 1-8 matchup. Now listen, Seattle doesn't, Minnesota does not want to see Seattle.
Yeah, that's their, yeah.
But
kryptonite.
But Seattle doesn't want to see any team under 500. And that's the issue there.
Yeah.
Atlanta and Indiana, that one is probably a virtual lock. Phoenix and New York, oh my goodness, that one is probably a virtual lock. I can't wait for the playoffs to start. Vegas and Golden State, the storylines there are going to be outstanding. So I can't wait for this to get started. I can't wait for the playoffs to get started. This is going to be phenomenal. That's going to be phenomenal. But we're gonna once everything gets locked in, we'll come back and give you our playoff preview. But right now, man, it's time for Tay's parlays. It is time for Tay's parlays. So listen, whether you're a casual fan, whether you're a diehard fan, whether you're just now being introduced to the game, whether you are on the verge of becoming a degenerate gambler, we have something for all of you. All right, so here's what we got. This is what we're looking at for Tay's parlays this week.
Okay.
All right. These are the games for Sunday, September 7th. These are the games for Sunday, September 7th. Okay. All right. We got the Indiana Fever fighting for a playoff spot. We got them playing at the Washington Mystics, who have lost, I believe, 8 or 9 in a row. All right, so we're looking at Kelsey Mitchell, averages 20.5 points per game. She's in our top 5 for MVP candidates. 19.5 points for Kelsey Mitchell. Over or under?
Over.
Over.
They need it.
They definitely need it, right? And poor Washington. Poor stinks. All right. Our second game of the day, we have the Dallas Wings, losers of 8 or 9 in a row at the Los Angeles Sparks, a game that the Sparks have got to have.
Again,
They have got
they
to
need
have
it.
this game. They
Yep.
lose this game, it's a wrap. Kelsey Plum, 18 and a half points.
Must score at least 19 points for them to contend for the playoffs. So I have to go over.
All right, we're going over for Kelsey Mitchell. We're going over for Kelsey Plum. So we need the Kelseys getting buckets today. Listen, Kelsey Plum, we need a 30-piece. We need a 30-piece chicken nugget today. All right, last game on the slate. We got the Chicago Sky, they of much controversy, and who gonna check me, boo? They actually have 2 games in Vegas. So they're gonna play, I want to say today, and then they're gonna play again. Or did they play last night? I know they have a back-to-back in Vegas, Chicago and the Aces. So the Aces actually have an inside track to this number 2 seed. Okay. So we got Asia Wilson. I got points, rebounds, and assists, but we're just gonna, that's points. That should actually say points. 23 and a half for Asia Wilson. She's averaging right at about 23 points per game for the season. So what do you have for Asia Wilson?
I'm gonna go over with Angel Reese being out. I don't know who's gonna stop that freight train. So I'm gonna go over.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to go over for Asia Wilson. So again, let me put the parlays back up on the screen. We're going over. Over for the Kelseys. Over for Asia Wilson, our MVP, 2 MVP candidates. And you know what? Kelsey Plum might be the most improved.
I can say that I think this is the year she's been the most consistent. So she may be someone that we add to our list.
We're going to need to add her to the list for most
I think that's
improved.
a good argument there.
All right. That is it for this week's episode of Coaches Co-op and WNBA Tay. Thank you for joining us here in the Co-op. Big thanks to our expert in all things WNBA Tay. Thank you for sharing your wisdom, your tea, your picks, and your parlays. If you're walking away with new insight for the WNBA, new energy for the WNBA, if you make a little money on your parlays, hit us up on IG and share the wealth. It's better to give than to receive. Sharing is caring. All right. Hit that like button, follow, subscribe, leave a 5-star review. I need you to remember that coaches do what most people can't. And if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. We'll see y'all next time with our playoff preview for WNBA Tay. I'm Coach P. Y'all be easy.